late night, they ain't getting no rest. Work so hard, people think I'm obsessed. Cream at the crop, won't settle for no less. Headed to the top, arena so focused. Yeah, gorilla of the jungle, I've been beating on my chest. I learned from the struggle, it was all just a test.
Hey guys, and welcome back. So today I want to make an update because we had a few updates to some of our positions. A few stop losses have hit, taken our profits off the table, and now I have also opened a few new positions. So I want to talk about those. Basically what we've seen is a little bit of a drop in the market. So a few of these positions kind of losing their structural support on the lower time frames. Things are looking a little bit overheated. So we've just taken our profits off the table. A lot of these we've just maintained our initial investment and taking those profits, put it in our cash position, and now we're looking to reinvest it kind of opportunistically throughout the market. So we have opened a few new positions, which I think have offered decent little entries here. You know, some are actually doing quite well already. But we're going to look here. BABA is the first one that I'm going to talk about. I had a stop loss here at $120. It did trigger today. We basically saw that we've lost that low time frame support. We're kind of underneath our moving averages here, stuck under resistance. We're seeing the bearish momentum picking up here on our trend and momentum indicators, and we're also seeing kind of a bearish setup here on the RSI. So losing that momentum, losing that price action, you know, for me, I would rather just book that profit, you know, take 20% gains off the table and look to reinvest it. So I would be looking down here kind of within this Fibonacci golden zone. So you're looking kind of at $110, even down to about $95 here could be a good place to re-add a position for Alibaba. If you don't already have one, you could start a position there. We definitely want to hold these lows, but there is a lot of support down here. So if the market is going to continue trending up, I think we are due for a bit of a retracement. Despite the fact it has gone on a major run, nothing goes up forever. So we've kind of taken advantage of a few different opportunities here, getting into these positions, recognizing patterns that have played out similarly in the past. So that's why I want to take my gains off the table when they come, before the market takes them from me, and then you put them back in when there's more value. That's how you increase your buying power. You can increase your share count over time this way, or you can just increase your cash position. So I kind of do a combination of all three. And opportunities are everywhere, so we want to be well capitalized to take advantage of those. So we've got our gains and we're looking to reinvest them. If we can get down to this 104 area here, that's that 200-day moving average. We got a buy order stacked. We've got that Fibonacci golden zone, so that's going to be a lot of support down there. Even if we get another little 20% bounce, we can take those gains again and look to rotate it. Same thing, we're just playing this market. This current market has actually been really good for trading. You know, previously to this, previously to kind of Trump getting in, everything was just up and to the right, so it was better just to have exposure and hold it to the upside, you know, just riding that macro trend. Now there's been a lot of volatility, there's a lot of kind of bounces here and there, so we're just making sure we're taking advantage of the gains. We're not getting greedy. We do recognize that nothing goes straight up, so we need to be prepared for the downside, and we want to be able to take better advantage of that downside as well. So flipping over to MSTY here, this is a yield farming strategy. So they essentially have a covered call strategy on MicroStrategy. So it sounds a little confusing there, but it's just an options trading strategy from a fund. They essentially do all the work and then they pay the holders a dividend every month. It's just kind of an easy way to earn about 10% yield per month right now on average. So we see here, it came back to our entry. We were up quite nicely. We got in at 21.71 and then we rode it all the way up to about $23, $24 here. So we were up 23%. You know, we probably should have taken those profits, but it was a yield farming strategy. It was relatively safe, kind of a hedge, if you will. And then we gained that 10% yield on the dividend. We held it for about 2 weeks and we exited with no risk. We earned 10%. And we added that to our cash position. We did recognize this potential pattern here, hopefully repeating like over here, but the retracement could come back a little bit further. So if we can look to re-enter this, you know, $20 or cheaper down to about 19, even down to the lower support zone here, anywhere from $17 to $20 could be a good place to rebuild that position, especially if we can get in there before the dividend cutoff date, which I think is the 7th of next month. So we've got about 2 weeks. If price comes down here, we can look to pick up a position and then really capitalize on that dividend. Only have to hold it for maybe a week or so, get that dividend, and then if you want to just unload it right away after you get that dividend. You can do that, or you can hold it for a little bit and hope that we continue to the upside, especially if these lows hold. So if we get this higher low on the high time frame, then I would look to hold that, because I think we at least come up to these higher levels up here, maybe retest the 200-day. We could look to capitalize on a 10% dividend as well as a 10% swing trade. So we could compound about 20% potentially, if not more, in a short amount of time. That's kind of my strategy with this one. Flipping over to MicroStrategy. So this is the asset that MSTY essentially trades an options strategy on. So we see here it has broken out of these two major downtrends just straight up. A really big nice move here. We got in at 290 on the breakout and then rode it to the upside. So we've broken my stop loss at 375, and now we've kind of exited the leverage position. So we were holding some MSTU, that's a leveraged ETF on MicroStrategy, just tracks the price of MicroStrategy, and then generally about 2x leverage, kind of give or take a few basis points. But we saw that break that level, lose that support, so we took our profits off the table, realized about 30% profits, so adding that to the cash position, and now we're looking to reinvest that. So we see here, if we pull our Fibonacci, we'll just adjust this a little bit, we can see that golden zone coming in here at about 277 up to 308. So even here there's a buy order, our 50-day moving average, and that 0.5 Fibonacci. So if Bitcoin continues to show strength here, it is retracing a little bit, but it's doing very well. It put in new all-time highs, broke $112,000 US, so pretty awesome move by Bitcoin. If we can continue to see strength there, I think MicroStrategy could show that relative strength a little bit higher up. So you could look to start a bit of a swing position here at about 330, but ultimately we always want to kind of capitalize on the higher low here within the Fibonacci golden zone, where there's quite a bit of confluence of other support too. So look for that entry down here, but don't get too greedy, but we're not going to risk everything up here at 335, but we might start dipping our toes, and then if we get that bounce, we'll look for the higher low confirmation to add exposure. So we'll flip over to Super Micro Computer Inc. This is a new position that we've just started today. So it basically is a server and cloud provider for AI solutions and HPC. They're pretty big. They've got some big ties with Saudi Arabia. So we have seen Trump basically securing hundreds of billions to, if not trillions, of investment from Saudi Arabia. So there's a few positions that I am interested in. I'm going to cover another one tomorrow that is MP Materials. But for now, I'm just going to talk about this one because this is an AI play. What we see here is this has kind of just rode this trend line for now. We're holding here. We're up above the 50-day, the 200-day, all the major moving averages, and we just came up. There was a big gap up here, so we can zoom in and see this big move here, gapping way up. We waited patiently, came back, basically filling the gap. So we took a little bit of an entry rate here, but we might look to add to the position down here as well as up to this upsloping trend line. So this is a potential AI player that we're going to keep our eye on. We've got a little bit of a position now, and we've used profits realized from other trades to fund this position. So this is essentially a risk-free position in itself as well. Another one we see here, Tempest AI. This is a Nancy Pelosi stock. We saw breaking out here, taking that Fibonacci retracement back to the 618. So we entered that position here, flipping this previous swing high into support. So I do expect this trend line to get hit eventually. Maybe we'll look to take some profits up here, but this is a decent little starter position as well. Nice entry here on that Fibonacci, but we could look to add to it further down here. But I wanted to wait for this breakout. This is basically where Nancy Pelosi bought, price skyrocketed, and then went into a sustained downtrend. We don't buy the downtrend. We wait patiently for our entries, and we take them when it makes more sense to do so. So Tempest AI is one that I currently have a position in, and MetaPlanet, that's another one. This is very new. It's essentially a MicroStrategy copycat play. They buy Bitcoin and they put it on their balance sheet. We saw this insane move here, so rocketing from $1, in a month up to $17. Everybody chasing it, and you know what we don't do? We don't chase stuff like this. All we had to do was wait patiently for our entry, and you know what we did? We just take that Fibonacci, and we see we came back within the golden zone there again. That's why these Fibonacci tools are so strong, pretty much right back to that 786. And we got that entry under $6, and look at that, we're already up on that position. We've held that for less than 12 hours, and we're up, you know, excuse me, sorry, we didn't enter it quite at 519. I got in at 597, and so we're still up 17% in 1 day of trading. So that's why we don't chase things. There is value here, but that's why I'm patient, and then I execute it when things are better value. So that's what I do. I look to take advantage of undervaluations. I don't chase hype. I buy companies that I think are strong fundamentally, and then I'm just patient, and I'm always capitalized so that I can take advantage of these opportunities. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this update clarifies a few of my positions, as well as update you on these new positions that I have opened. So I'll see you guys in the next one.